fantastic time of year for sport here on 7. Footy finals, endurance racing for supercars and a whole lot more. Today we are at the pointy end of the season for the Shannons SpeedSeries, and round 5 takes place here at Tailem Bend, the awesome motorsport complex, about an hour outside of Adelaide. Good morning, everybody. Greg Rust and Charlie Barlow with you for the coverage. Back in 2018, the Shannons Nationals, as it was known back then, had the privilege of being the first national event here. Charlie, nice to be back, isn't it?
It certainly is, but we are very, very busy for round 5 of the Shannons SpeedSeries. Good morning, Rusty. Good morning, everyone. We have 6 categories, over 100 competitors, and everything from exotic GTs to open wheelers to historic production cars. There is so much going on, but the penultimate round of the Shannons SpeedSeries, round 5, is our last round in Australia. We will head to Hampton Downs, but what is so exciting about round 5, Rusty, is not only is it a penultimate round for a couple of our categories, we will be crowning some champions here this weekend.
So it's been an amazing year, and we are at the point, as Charlie's saying there, for a couple of the categories where it is crunch time, and we're going to be enjoying the racing today. Though from a schedule perspective, the morning is very much focused on qualifying, with racing in the afternoon. The first of our races coming up just before midday. Wonderful to have Group S back with us. There are all sorts of cars. You touched on it there a moment ago, from Porsches to Corvettes, Datsuns, you name it. Really cool machinery there, and just before midday is their first race of the weekend. But this morning starts with some important qualifying for our headline acts in GT World Challenge Australia, for example.
It certainly does. And then the Ferraris, they are back for the first time since we saw them in May in Sydney. And then we're heading into qualifying, as you say, race 1 for Group S. And then this afternoon, we are heading into racing for GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, and Monochrome GT4 as well. 1 hour races, and crucial for the championship fight.
Charlie has raced for the beanie, and that is for good reason. We are, from a top temperature point of view, in for a good afternoon, but it's a little bit of a crisp and chilly start to the morning, isn't it?
It certainly is. I do have hand warmers that I'm concealing in my pockets. Hopefully I won't need them by the time we are racing for GTs, but it is wonderful to be back at the Bend, isn't it, Rusty? And there are lots of different layouts that we can have here at Tailem Bend, and to walk us through the one that we'll be doing this weekend, Rusty caught up with Brock Feeney.
Track walk time ahead of round 5 of the Shannons SpeedSeries here at Shell V-Power Motorsport Park, and we have got one of the best in the business to talk through some of the signature things of the international circuit. 4.95 Ks, and Brock Feeney, a lot of action typically happens here at 1, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does, Rusty, and you know, it's such a new, perfectly built racetrack with so much runoff around here. So lap 1, turn 1, this is where it's going to go down. This is where your safety cars come from. Great passing spot here into turn 1. Wind's a big factor down, so much land around, so the tailwind affects it a lot, but it's actually a really complicated first couple of corners. If you get one wrong, you set up really poorly through 2 and 3. So high action spot, plenty of passes. This is where the safety cars are going to come from.
The layout runs anti-clockwise, and there's lots of right-handers, but this is a rare left, and it's got a little bit of camber to it, more than I realised, turn 5.
Yeah, it does for sure, Rusty. And you sort of look on entry here, and it actually drops off in camber on the way in, and then you get a bit of camber on the exit. It's another great passing spot here, plenty of action normally at the start of the races once again, but one of the actual trickiest corners just due to the layout of how it happens. So you see some interesting lines. Some people dive straight to the curb, some have a real late entry, but one of the awesome corners that sets up to some of the best corners in Australian motorsport.
We're sort of in the sequence now. Brock wanted to stop here at turns 7 through 10. Lots of stress, I would imagine, on that left front tyre, because you're constantly going right, and it looks like, to use your word before, you've got to have flow. Is it fast?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, Rusty. You actually feel the neck a bit through here, and I'm glad you remembered the turn numbers, because I completely forget once you start turning right. But look, it's a huge drop-off, and in these GT cars, you're still carrying about 30–40% throttle through here. So, yeah, as you said, the whole left side of the car's super loaded up. The neck's feeling it, the body's feeling all the G's around here. This is one of the most enjoyable corners in a GT in Australia.
What's really cool about stopping to do this is that it's changed my perspective. It looks flat at first glance. There is far more undulation in this than I realised. This is 13, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, Rusty. It's it's another super challenging corner, completely blind. So you're normally braking about 70 metres. It's a huge uphill braking, which is great for us drivers. You've got this enormous sausage curve that you try to avoid like the plague, and then as you come over, the camber really drops off, and as I said, it's a super blind corner, so one of the more challenging ones, but so cool to actually come and walk it and see the elevation. As you say, you don't really see that on TV.
Piecing a perfect lap together here clearly is not easy, and we've stopped deliberately in these final couple of corners for a reason, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, Rusty. I was sort of explaining how tight this corner is, and you expect it to be about a 90 degree, but it actually comes back a lot on itself here. I remember my first ever lap here in an 86, and I ended up in that dirt out there just because I didn't realise how tight it was going to be. But another fantastic passing opportunity. It's the slowest corner on the track, so best opportunity to pass, make some things happen before you get to the beautiful front straight.
And if you get it wrong, the amount of time you're going to lose going on to the main straight will be killer. The aero comes into its own in so many places of this track, and then you get to stretch the legs to the finish line.
Yeah, I think it's one of the longest straights in the country actually, so it's pretty awesome. You come through the final corner, you get to look at this pretty awesome view down the front straight. People are on the hotel balcony having lunch while they watch you, but another awesome way to finish off what is one of the best laps in Australia.
He is in a purple patch, as they say at the moment. Can you believe it? He did virtually all of that in one take. What a star. Richard Craill and Thomas Randall are with us in commentary this weekend, and we're also joined by Cameron Van den Dungen. Good morning, mate.
Good morning, Rusty. I'm back in my natural habitat, aren't I? Down here in pit lane, and I'm with the title leader for the Pro-Am class. This is Jackson Evans at the wheel. Elliot Shute will be alongside him this weekend as well. They're starting to fire up now. We're not far away from getting out on track. I'll get out of his way, but Jackson Evans on board there. These cars are absolutely magnificent. Arise Racing GT, they have just been such a incredible outfit putting this together, and this car basically has a race in hand as they fight for the title. But just next door, if you swing around over here, not very far away, Audi Customer Sport Racing. A few of the cars down there, you'll see Renee Gracie, who leads the AM class. Watch out for her today. She could wrap it up this weekend. But just alongside, and this is the bit I wanted to give you, Rusty, because I was talking to BD Suter Dawson and the guys from Arise Racing GT. They said their cars look pretty quick, but they think there is plenty in hand with the Audis. A lot of chat that there've been a little bit of sandbagging from the Audis going into qualifying. They were looking at the splits through practice, and they reckon they will be the car to beat, and that's the 888 in particular I'm talking about. But do not count out Jaden Ojeda.
Thank you, Cameron Van den Dungen down in the lane. Upstairs in the box at Shell V-Power Motorsport Park, the Bend, for a massive day of action here at the Shannons Speed Series. Richard Craill and Thomas Randall with you to walk you through qualifying for the penultimate round in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. This has been box office all season long, and we're getting into the business end of the season at a track, Thomas Randall, as if designed purely for a GT3 car. It's fast, it's flowing. You heard it from Brock Feeney. It is flat out and massively challenging as well. Good morning to you. It's a driver's paradise, this place.
It definitely is, Crailsy. Good morning to you as well. Good morning to everyone tuning in this morning from our live coverage at the Bend Motorsport Park. What a way to start the day with qualifying one of the GT World Challenge powered by AWS. We've had awesome speed across the day yesterday. The track has been pretty quick. 1 minute 45 as these cars have been doing around here. It's nearly a 5-kilometre circuit. So just put that into perspective. 18 corners, and like you said, Crailsy, so smooth. The curbs are smooth as well. It is a GT car's paradise.
Qualifying in the championship this year has been dominated by Arise Racing GT, the Ferrari 296 that you see at the front of the queue, and leading the way out of pit lane with Jackson Evans behind the wheel. 4 pole positions to their credit this year. 2 pole positions to Brock Feeney and Brad Schumacher in the Audi that Cameron referenced. Now, Audi have got the track record here in qualifying. The last time GT3 cars raced on the international circuit, this longer track here at the Bend, was in 2022. Guess who put it on pole in 2022? Yes, it was Brock Feeney. Of course it was, at a 1 minute 45.59, and that is bang on the lap time they did yesterday in a pre-qualifying session yesterday afternoon. He actually out-qualified Garth Tander to grab pole position. Brock Feeney was driving a Merc at that time, though. Audis, though, have won the last couple of races here in the hands of Garth Tander and Yasser Shaheen. The last time they raced here, though, GT World Challenge, they only squeezed in one race because the Sunday race was rained out. It absolutely poured down and there was no track action. So we're looking forward to this. A little form guide coming into it yesterday with a series of fascinating practice sessions. Jaden Ojeda and Paul Lucitti were quickest overall in a Mercedes AMG, the Realtor car from Tigani Motorsport, looking for their first win of the season so far. Merck yet to trouble the scorers this year. They were quicker than Ryan Wood and Steve Brooks in the Wolfbrook Audi, with Jordan Love third with Stephen White in the Ferrari, then Alex Peroni and Mark Rosser next in fourth position. The local team, BRM, who have got a lot of laps at this venue. Fifth place yesterday was our championship leaders in the form of Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute. And if you haven't seen GT World Challenge qualifying, 2 sessions, they set the grid for the 2 races. The pro drivers are on the racetrack now. The AM drivers will take part in qualifying 2. Then they swap them round with the driver that starts the 2 respective 1-hour races over the course of the weekend. So that's the scene. There's 15 minutes on the clock for this qualifying 1 session. And the question now, Thomas, is how do you build into this? How do you work your way up to execute that 1 perfect lap here at the Bend?
It's a good question because it's such a long lap, Crailsy. 1 minute 45, like you've just touched on, and we've just got under 13 minutes remaining. How these guys go about the warm-up procedure with these Pirelli tyres, and I was just about to call it. I think some of these guys are going to come in the lane, sit there, let the heat soak through the brakes into the front tyres, because it's all about that front tyre temp around here. And what you see as well is not many cars are weaving on this out lap, Crailsy, because they don't want to take any of that meat out of the tyre. So a lot of cars, what they'll be doing is just holding the brake. A couple of cars are actually running. The 2 Audis there, that's Ryan Wood in the foreground, and in the background is Brock Feeney, who we just touched on and got to see that track walk with him and Rusty. So 12 minutes remaining. A couple of those cars, the Ferraris are in the lane. Jaden Ojeda also in the lane. He was super fast yesterday in pre-qualifying. So this first session are the pro drivers of the 2 in terms of those Pro-Am cars. Stupas is out there in the trophy class, Renee Gracie, Donaldson, Konduras is out there, Ben Schutz, and then for qualifying 2 we'll see all the bronze drivers. And someone who we probably haven't talked about just yet, Crails, I know it's early, is our latest race winner, Liam Talbot. He was quite fast as well in practice yesterday. Along so was Mark Rosser. And they always seem to go good in practice and just have a few things that don't go their way in qualifying in the races. So just keep an eye on that 268 Audi as well, and in particular this session 2 with Alex Peroni.
It's been a bit sink or swim for that Team BRM squad this year. They've either had an unbelievable weekend or a horrific one, and they're coming off the back of a really challenging weekend at Queensland Raceway. But they've got this weekend. They've always had it circled in their diary. There's the ACM Finance car going through shot at the bottom at turn 11. This is a big weekend for them. The only team this year so far to lock out pole positions in both qualifying sessions, predictably, are our championship leaders. And it was Jackson Evans and Elliott Shute at Sydney Motorsport Park earlier this year. They each scored a pole position. Otherwise, we've had different pole sitters for each of the races, Pro and Am. Jackson Evans has grabbed 2 of the poles this season. Elliott Shute has got a bunch of them as well. So they've been very evenly matched from a Pro and an Am point of view in the number 26 Ferrari.
So they're back out of the lane, the 2 Ferraris, as is Jaden Ojeda. So this is where they'll just start building that temp on the track and start weaving the tyres. Ryan Wood, the times at the moment are so far off where we are at. So just building up tyre tempers. This is a little bit awkward between the 2 Tigani Motorsport Mercedes, albeit those guys aren't on a lap at the moment. But I will be seeing, I mean, it is perfect conditions out there. A little bit of a headwind though into turn 1. So turn 1 faces north, so a little bit of a north wind. Back on that 268 Audi, last time out at Sandown, Crailsy, they were super quick in practice, like you said, and then unfortunately Peroni had that incident at turn 4, which not only took him out of qualifying, it meant that Mark Rosser couldn't qualify, so they started both races from the rear of the field. They have had a race win this year. And someone who is in desperate want of a race win is the Mercedes of Jaden Ojeda.
Even Queensland Raceway, where this team won race 2. Race 1 they DNF'd. So it's been such a year of highs and lows for this squad. It almost feels like, as much as they'd love a win, if they walked away with 2 podiums from this weekend, even if it wasn't on the top step, that would be a decent tick in the box just to get that level of consistency. And it's Alex Peroni, the young Tasmanian who went overseas to chase the open wheel dream, first to Europe and then to the United States. Came back to Australia last year, linked up with Mark Rosser, and they've become a very effective combination with Albert Kelleher and his ACMF brand jumping on the side of this distinctive Audi R8 LMS Evo, all the upgrade kit on this car, which has been one of the most, if not the most successful GT3 car in the 20-year history now of GT3 racing. It's been around so long, Thomas, that there's now a historic GT3 series in Europe, which will pop up on the calendar next year, which is going to be very, very exciting for the Gen 1 GT3 cars from sort of 05, 6, 7, 8 and 9, as the multiple champion Liam Talbot looks on.
Our most recent race winner, as we touched on, looking at Jamie Day, who took over the reins of that car last time out at Sandown. The opening race, not quite going to plan for Jamie Day, but they did an excellent job in that second race. So Jada, in the wet conditions, got a fantastic early lead, but once Liam Talbot got behind the wheel, he was an absolute demon in those conditions and got the job done for Volante Rosso Motorsport. Here is Tony D'Alberto in that lovely Lamborghini heading down into turn 6. So purple sectors are starting to show up. A lot of green boxes at the moment, green sectors I should say, but the tyres are just going to get more and more up to temperature. And these last 5 minutes, I think, Crailsy, is when we're going to start to see some really fast lap times.
Nice to see this car back. Adrian Dietz has got Tony D'Alberto alongside him. Remember, David Wall drove this car earlier in the year and they qualified on the front row at Sydney Motorsport Park. Very effective performance. It's great to have David Wall back in the paddock. He's been on the sidelines since June after a very big crash at the Le Mans 24-hour. Did some damage to his back, quite bad damage to the back. He's only just got out of the brace. He was frustrated race car driver slash team owner for a long time, Wally, and this is his first race meeting back at the circuit. So good to see Wally back. And the Lambo has been pretty competitive. They were 7th quickest yesterday, but within a second of Jaden Ojeda's quickest time in the pre-qualifying session. So they're somewhere in the mix. And we know that Tony is the guy that will deliver when he's behind the wheel of the 93 car with that stunning, beautiful livery. 46.3, the first semi-representative time of the session set by Alex Peroni. In the lane is Greg Rust.
Richard, we waited until the end of the lap for Alex Peroni, so we were sort of hovering over Mark Ross's shoulder here at Team BRM. That's a nice way to open the account this morning.
Yeah, there's still a bit more time to come. Yeah, I think probably this lap and the next couple, the tyres are still coming up to temperature, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't think we'll know until the very end to see where we stand.
It looks as though you guys walked away from Friday in very good shape. When I walked in for a chat with Alex yesterday, he seemed very positive.
Yeah, we know what we can do here. We've had a lot of, I guess, test days of that here, so it's our home track, so we use that to our advantage and hopefully we'll put it together.
Thank you. Thanks.
Greg Rust with Mark Rosser down at the Team BRM squad. How's the attitude of the car down through turn 7, 8 and 9? More than 2G laterally down through there. These cars with all the downforce in the world and that slick Pirelli tyre. And even Brock Feeney, who is arguably the most informed driver in the sport, said, yeah, you feel your neck through there when the cars are loaded up. A little bit wide at 13 at the top of the hill there for Peroni. And he's given away a little bit of time in that middle sector. So 4/10 lost in the middle split where all the commitment stuff is around the back of the bend. Ryan Wood is on a really good lap in the number 88 car, the Wolfbrook Motorsport entry. He shares with Stephen Brooks out of New Zealand, who's looking forward to the final round of the championship at Hampton Downs in early November and goes to the top at a 45.8. That is closer to what a benchmark lap time needs to be to grab pole here at the bend. What's the lap time from Peroni? It goes second at a 1 minute 45.9. Brock Feeney has gone third, winding himself up at a 1:46.0. Audi's 1, 2 and 3 at the moment.
We know there's definitely more in the cars and track there, considering Peroni lost nearly half a second in that middle sector. And we've got to keep an eye on Ojeda as well and Jackson Evans, because they haven't really fired a shot yet. I think Ojeda and Evans are still in that warm-up, build-up phase, if you like. They were the ones that pitted on that opening lap. So still 4 minutes to go. A lot of time to go here, barring that the session stays green. And Ryan Wood has set a personal best in the first sector on this lap. That's the car that we're following right now, the 88 Audi. So as he gets through 11 and 12, really tricky to get these corners right. Turn 12, Crailsey feels like it just goes on forever. And then you head down this short back straight up to turn 13. And you feel brave that you can bomb it in late here. The apex point is where that extra sausage curb is there. And then it sort of goes off camber, and you can't actually see the exit because there's quite a drop-off. That's a really tough corner, turn 14, tightens up on itself, turn 15. You kind of leave it in second gear all the way through there, flat out around turn 16, and then heading down to what is the tightest corner on the track, the slowest minimum speed. They're about 75 k's an hour, second gear, then running up to turn 18. And at this point, you're thinking, I've done all the hard work. I've just got to nail one more corner, use all of that exit. He couldn't have used any more there, the run down the finish line. And what time's it going to be? It's quicker. It's a 45.5. So that's faster than what was achieved yesterday.
Let's go to Cam.
Yeah, I thought I'd jump in with Brad Schumacher while we're down here. Look, the title fight is alive, but there's a bit of work for you guys to do, and it probably starts with qualifying, eh?
Yeah, definitely. For sure, we're on the back foot. Obviously, second last round. So, and we've been on the back foot all day yesterday with car balance. It's actually been really tricky. I did hear on the televised commentary earlier that we might have been sandbagging. Truth is, actually, we've struggled so far. So, hopefully, over the changes we've made last night, the car will come alive today. But it's tricky out here because the conditions have been so differential to what the forecast has actually said. Today's supposed to be 27 degrees. I don't know where that is.
There's two different garages down here, Crailsey, the Audi and the Ferrari, and they've both been using the word sandbagging relating to the one next door. They're saying they are tapped out. Are you saying they're not?
Oh, mate, we're tapped out. Absolutely, we're tapped out. I'm not sure what they're doing. Obviously, we have Claude here for the VIP this weekend, which is breath of fresh air to see what might be going on up and down pit lane. But, yeah, we're tapped out. As I said, we made a few changes, and hopefully Brock and I can get the thing up the front somewhere today.
Well, the Audi's looking good at the moment, so good luck.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
There's a couple of good laps on here. Just up the road from the Superbarn car is Jaden Ojeda, who goes to the top at a 1 minute 45.2 and pulls 0.3 of a second over the field. Jackson Evans is also on an attack lap at the moment in the 26 Ferrari. A 1 minute 45.96 for the Arias racing car as Evans goes second at a 45.3. So a 1/10 of a second back. If that's sandbagging, he's sandbagging extremely well. And off the road goes Grant Donaldson in the 111 Racing Mercedes AMG. He will gather that up and live to fight another day. And this is at the bottom of the hill, so turn 10 in the background, 11 in the foreground. High speed, change of direction. The car loaded up to the max, and Grant's just run that wide. He's currently third in the AM class, which is being led by Renee Gracie in 10th position outright. You can tell the AM class cars, they've got the red number highlight on this timing and scoring totem top left of your screen. Ojeda, Mercedes AMG quickest, Evans, Ferrari in second, Ryan Woods, Audi in third. So Feeney fourth.
Yeah, that was a great lap from Ojeda, and he's not done yet. So he's set another personal best in Sector 1. Now, these two cars are at the front at the moment, Ojeda and Evans, like we spoke about. They're the two cars that came in on that opening lap and pitted, let the car sit. Oh, that's a massive moment there on entry for, was that, I think that was Jackson Evans, lost the rear on the wane, and that's probably from some of that dirt that the 111 car left as he went off at turn 11. So, yeah, and Ojeda's middle sector 2 was not a personal best, so I'd say maybe a bit of debris and a bit of dirt is the reason why they've lost time there. But I was just going to say, these two cars out in front are the ones that pitted as the checkered flag is now out, and it looks like no one really is threatening for that top spot. So if it stays like this, it's going to be the 66 Mercedes of Ojeda that will get the job done.
The only one on a lap at the moment is George King in the number 55 Guy Valmont Racing Mercedes AMG. Here's Ojeda, 0.1 of a second. Evans pits, and it looks like Mercedes AMG are going to grab their first pole position of the season in GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. It's taken them all the way through to the 9th qualifying session of the year. Still searching for a maiden win. Everyone peels off into pit lane. Jayden Ojeda has done the job. Mercedes, AMG, Ferrari, Audi 1, 2 and 3, and they're covered by 0.16 of a second. That's a pretty good example of the BOP doing its work and working really well. Here's Gracie. She's going to get pole in the trophy class. She's on an improved lap as well. 48.2 to beat.
She's just got to beat herself.
Yep, looking for an extra couple of seconds out of the final corner. Has been in good touch this weekend and can wrap up the AM Class Championship this weekend. And no improvement on that lap time. The middle sector is where she lost a lot of time, but her first and last sectors were the best of the session for her. Here's the grid for qualifying one in GT World Challenge Australia. Mercedes AMG on top, tiny margins, but a GT qualifying record here at the Bend. Ojeda, Evans and Wood and Feeney the first 2 rows, then Love and Alex Peroni in 6th place for BRM. So the top 6 cars covered by half a second. Jamie Day next, then Tony D'Alberto in the Lambo, King and Gracie the 10. Shoots second in the AM class with Theo Conderos, Grant Donaldson and Matty Stupas rounding out the 14. This guy, the Juice, he squeezed it this morning and he is on pole position in qualifying one. That is a big result. And now the job is up to his co-driver Paul Lucitti to go around against the other AM drivers and do it in qualifying too.
He's got so much confidence, doesn't he, in these cars. So experienced in these Mercedes GT3 machinery and getting the job done. Loves this track, and he'll be back here next week as he is alongside the guy that's qualified in 3rd, Ryan Wood, driving alongside him at the Supercars round, as we'll be back here next week. So yeah, like you said, they'll be switching drives.
It's an awkward turn one conversation, isn't it, in race 2 tomorrow when
potentially
they line up 1st and 3rd. We'll see how that plays out. It's going to be good fun. Celebrations down at the Realtor team, and Greg Rust is in the thick of it.
He's staying in work mode, Crailsey, so the Juice is just making sure that Paul Lucitti gets in okay. So we'll let him do a little bit of work there, and then we'll try and maybe sneak in and grab a word with him. Great job, as you've pointed out there before, and obviously passing on some valuable information before Paul heads out for his qualifying run as well too. So you can appreciate, for those of you watching here on 7, that this is a little moment for a driver with immense calibre in Jayden to pass on the learnings from his qualifying session to Paul that will invariably help him. Little things that the circuit and the car are doing right now, and perhaps if there was an issue for Jackson Evans there before, to be mindful of that at that corner. So job's just about done. Final piece of advice just in relation to the car. One moment here. Thank you, team, for your patience. Can we get in and grab a word? Congratulations. Hey, that mega way to start the weekend. Well done.
Yeah, awesome. The Tagani Motorsport Mercedes AMG felt mega. Such a cool circuit to drive these cars at. The downforce, everything just feels amazing. So really cool. First pole for the year for GT World Challenge Australia. So, no, stoked.
You should be. Hey, nice way to set up the week ahead for you as well. What were the final words to Paul before he heads off? Car's okay for his session?
Just put the eyes over the hands over the eyes and just send it. Go for it, mate.
There you go. Send it. They're the final words. We'll grab a commercial break here. Back with more live at the Bend right after this.
That's the view of the pit lane here at Shell V-Power Motorsport Park. A busy precinct, not just for this weekend, but the AirTouch 500 next weekend. As Rusty said at the top of the show, this is the hub of all things national level motorsport for the next fortnight, and they're putting on a show so far. We've seen part one of qualifying for GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS. It's now time for part two. That was the first pole position for a Mercedes AMG team this season. Jaden Ojeda did the job. First time that car has been on pole position since early last season, and just their second front row start or qualifying performance of the year. So a big box ticked for them, but the pressure now turns to the AM drivers for qualifying two. Another 15 minutes, and the interesting conversation, I suppose, Thomas, will be that warm-up procedure that you touched on that worked so effectively for the Mercedes AMG in that session before. But then also, this is the AM driver. They've got to do the job. All the weight is on their shoulders, and this determines the starting grid for one of the two 60-minute races. So there's a bit on this, and the pressure rises up now. As we've talked about all year in GT World Challenge, it's not just the performance of the pro driver, it's a team effort to execute a big weekend in these cars and in this series.
And there's a lot of pressure on Brad Schumacher, knowing that there's that 30-point buffer to Elliott Shute and Jackson Evans in the championship fight. So Brad will be thinking, okay, we're lining up fourth for tomorrow's race, knowing that their rival, Jackson Evans, that car will be starting second for tomorrow's race. So Brad, that's out of Brad's control, what's just happened in qualifying one. So the pressure's on him now to see if he can perform and put that 888 Audi in front of the 26 Arise Racing Ferrari. So we've just gone green here, qualifying two, another 15-minute session. And like you touched on, Crailsey, what's going to happen in terms of that warm-up procedure, whether they do something similar, because it was the 26 Ferrari and the 66 Mercedes, those two cars, along with Jordan Love as well, all came in and sat there for a minute or two, and those two cars ended up 1 and 2. So we'll see what happens here. Rusty?
Tagani Motorsport, just to embellish kind of what Crailsey was talking about before, and the onus, the emphasis for the AM drivers. So already with the headset on, directly to my left is Jaden Ojeda, who's just done the job, and we're just giving you a little shot there on the other side of the Tagani Motorsport garage, offering some great advice there to one of their cars, is 2017 Bathurst winner Luke Youlden there, who did the job back then, as you know, with David Reynolds. Really cool to have that kind of that calibre at a moment like this for this team.
It's a good point, Rusty. The level of experience in the GT World Challenge paddock, in fact the paddock overall, is remarkable, and the amount of drivers being tapped on the shoulder to offer their wisdom. And Luke, who runs the Porsche Sport Driving School track experience program full-time in his job, so he literally spends his life coaching people to go fast in racing cars. He's a pretty good guy at doing that. Elliott Shute in the AM driver sessions has 3 pole positions to his credit this season, but Brad Schumacher has qualified 3rd or 2nd so far this year, and got a pole position at Queensland Raceway as well. In fact, the number 888 Audi R8 was on pole for both of the races up there in Ipswich. So he's got qualifying form too. It looks like a battle between the two of them for pole position, but I wonder what Liam Talbot can do in that Aston Martin that's been there or thereabouts the Valente Rosso car so far this weekend.
I'm excited to see how he goes, but I'm also keen to see how Mark Rosser goes. He was pretty fast yesterday in practice. Got a lot of confidence in that Audi around here, and he could be a surprise pole man potentially, but no one's decided to come to the lane. I think for these guys, it's going to be better just be out on track, more track time, get the temperature up out on the circuit, and just try and feel the grip, feel the tyre temp come up. The brakes are already going to be warm because these cars have already been going for 15 minutes. It's just about the tyres. During that break, everyone switched to that second set of brand new Pirelli rubber, and that's why these cars are just taking a little bit of time to get back up to speed. And the last time these guys were out was about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. So kind of similar conditions, actually. The sun was going down, now the sun's coming up. It is very overcast outside today here at the Bend. We're about 100 kilometres southeast of the Adelaide CBD here at Tailem Bend. Beautiful facility here. We've been racing here since 2018. And the track is still in amazing condition. And So just following here, Elliott Shute.
I was just looking, Thomas, at Liam Talbot, and Valente Rosso held him in the lane for about 35 or 40 seconds after the green flag flew to start this session. So they've dropped him out right at the very back of the field. For comparison, so Shute's coming out of turn 16 and down to 17 now. Liam Talbot's right at the back of the circuit, almost a kilometre away in a straight line down at turn 10 and 11. So they've just put him out there in clear track on his own. And I wonder how much of that is down to the warm-up procedure that they've worked out that Aston Martin likes, is to just go out there. He won't be impeding anyone by going slowly to build those tyres up. Qualified third, Liam Talbot, at Sandown on a very different style of racetrack. But they've started to unpick the secrets of this brand new Aston Martin Vantage GT3 that Valente Rosso's had for about 12 months now. And they're starting to get more consistent performance out of it week in, week out. At the start of the season, it was a little bit hit or miss depending on where you were and what circuit you were at. But they're unlocking the secrets in car number one, and a great win, Rusty, at Sandown for this team as well.
I'm at Paul Racing, Kralsey, with Tony D'Alberto, who's been running up a storm. What did you do last weekend? Was it a half?
I did a half marathon, yeah.
You're looking sharp.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I'm trying pretty hard. I actually really enjoy running, and it's coming into enduro season, supercars, so just trying to bump up that fitness a little bit. And it doesn't get any easier, but I did PB by 7 minutes, so I was happy with that.
Great work. Okay, Adrian Dietz in the Lamborghini at the moment. Give us a bit of a rundown on your weekend so far and your session there before.
Yeah, we haven't run for a couple of rounds now, so Adrian's been away and I've been away myself. So this weekend is not a test session, but we're sort of easing our way back into it. Bit of an untidy session for me then, so I didn't quite put a lap together I should have, so I'll take the blame for that one. But the car's actually improving, so it's probably the best we've had the car here ever. So we're getting there, we just haven't quite put it together just yet.
Okay, this is the centre of the known universe for the next week.
Yes.
Very different beast, obviously. Does it help for next weekend for you? Just laps has got to be good still at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Definitely dialing myself in and dusting off some of that rust. But I don't know, these cars are pretty fast around here, especially through the corner. So I think next week we're going to have to recalibrate the brain. I was talking to Ryan Wood earlier, and he said we're going to be buggered next week, especially that first practice session. We'd be expecting so much of the supercar where it just can't give you that. So completely different driving style, but any time you're behind a race car, I think is a good thing.
Okay, Thomas Randall seen cutting laps of Murray Bridge last night. You're running too. We are not worthy. Back to you, boys.
Hey, Rusty, did you bash out the casual 30 or 40 Ks this morning?
Negative.
I'm disappointed, mate. Where's the commitment? Where's the practice for pit lane reporting?
Hey, Rusty, you've got your runners. We'll go tonight.
Thank you.
And in that time, Elliott Shute has just laid down half a decent lap time here. Still just so much time to go. 8 minutes as we get a replay of, is that the 111 having another moment into turn 11 and 12. It's a bit of an Achilles heel for this car, isn't it, Kralsey? Yeah. Didn't go round this time, just trying to cut the track and shorten the lap.
Grant driving solo this weekend as well. He usually has his mate Darren Curry alongside him, but 2 sessions, 2 offs. Here's Liam Talbot. Speaking of running, bumped into him on Thursday when he arrived at the circuit and dropped that he casually ran a 70k the other day, which was a personal best for Liam as he builds up to some marathon running down the road. So super fit elite athletes in this paddock, perhaps not in this side of the commentary box anyway. As we watch the Ferrari, and now we watch Brad Schumacher, the Bathurstian in the Kelso electrical Audi. So proud of what he's achieved in GT racing. He's won the trophy class, he's won the AM class, and now he's looking for a Pro-Am title. And it feels like there's a little bit more impetus on this weekend as we build towards the championship showdown. Purple in the first sector means he's quicker than anybody. Green is personal best in the middle sector and a 10th away from Elliott Shute, who's also on a good lap in the Arise Racing Ferrari. As Schumacher clears the final corner, chasing the Ferrari, so Shute will get to the line first at a 48.6. Where does Schumacher end up? He goes quicker at a 48.32, and it's .084. Rene Gracie, meanwhile, split them second place at a 48.4. Very, very good lap for Rene. Yep. Schumacher provisionally to the top in the Audi.
I was about to say, her middle sector was 2 tenths faster than Brad Schumacher, and I first thought, has Rene let Schumacher through? But actually, Rene's right in behind Brad Schumacher, and that's a great time from Rene Gracie. So Still about 6.5 minutes to go here. It's Schumacher from Gracie from Chute, and if it stays as it stands, Crailsey, this is exactly what Brad Schumacher needs, and what he wants is to be out in front, as he's just gone even faster through the first sector.
Let's go to Cam in the lane.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd get the reaction from Jackson Evans. Good qualifying from you earlier. Renee Gracie just jumped in and split you guys from Brad Schumacher. A little bit of work there for Elliot to do.
Yeah, look, pretty happy with my qualifying session. You know, we had a bit of an issue in pre-quali yesterday, so good to see that that was rectified. And Elliot's doing a great job at the moment. We're yeah, just getting more and more comfortable with the more laps we do here, and you know, hopefully he can keep it towards the pointy end and see where we end up.
We've been talking, Richard Crail in particular has been talking about how you've got a little bit of a buffer in the title fight at the moment, but it's never really comfortable, is it? No,
never comfortable, you know, and we treat each race as it comes, and you know, we're not taking that position for granted, and we know we need to go out and perform every race, so you know, as long as we're starting towards the front, we can stay in that title fight.
It's about to get busy for qualifying right now. How critical is qualifying at the Bend? I know it's a GT racing track, but is it important for the racing?
Yeah, definitely. I think the track conditions this weekend, over practice session yesterday, you know, there was a lot of dirt and pick up offline. So anytime you're in the lead is a good time, but it seems like it might be quite difficult to overtake here.
All right, good luck.
Cheers, thank you.
Jackson Evans talking to Cameron Van den Dungen. Meanwhile, Brad Schumacher's gone quicker again at a 1:47.2. Gracie second. Chute improved. Everybody is improving lap times. Brooks goes to fifth, but Rosser jumps to second in the Team BRM ACM Finance car, but Liam Talbot could be the spoiler here. We talked about the Aston Martin playing a little different strategy game at the start of the session. The multiple GT World Challenge champion about to complete his first serious push lap. Where does it put car number one? Up a couple of spots to fifth at a 1:48.13. More time to find for Talbot, but promising signs, and he was quicker than anybody so far in this session in the first sector. Schumacher, Rosser, Gracie, the top three. Just to finish the point on Renee Gracie for the moment, because she may well go quicker, she has got prize in this. Remember, qualified superbly earlier this year at Sydney Motorsport Park for race 2 there, qualified second outright. So put that car, an AM class car, on the outright front row. So she's got prize this season. Right now sitting third in an outstanding job in the OnlyFans Audi.
Yeah, I think Ross has just had the call to back off here. He was getting in really close behind these two cars. Steve Brooks, I think that is the car in front of him, and Wyatt as well. But you know who's just gone even quicker in sector one? Liam Talbot. If he can find some time in that final sector, Crailsey, that's where he's losing all the time. And we're split. Sector one is fastest set by Talbot. Sector two, Schumacher. Sector three, Rosser. If you combine all those times, you actually get a 1:46.99. So there is still some time on the table. Talbot, green to the middle sector, 13.5 overall, as we now follow this car through turn 15, heading down. This is the final sector and into the second last corner, the penultimate corner, which is such a tricky corner, Crailsey. It really tightens up. I reckon every time that someone's taken this corner for the first time when they've come here, have nearly fired it off on the exit there because it tightens up. But as we follow the Aston Martin through the final corner, this is the sector where he needs to find that time.
0.3 of a second will get him to third position, and it does. So Liam goes to third with a 1:47.73, half a second away from Schumacher, 0.4 away from Mark Rosser, but continual improvement. And here's a little moment on the inside of that curve at a really awkward turn 14-15 sequence here at Shell V-Power Motorsport Park. 2 minutes to go in qualifying 2 for GT World Challenge Australia. Brad Schumacher looking for what would be his personal second pole position of the year, the third for the Kelso Electrical Audi. Mark Rosser is next. Audi 1 and 2, Aston Martin in third, Renee Gracie still in fourth, then Elliot Chute and Steve Brooks. Stephen Wyatt, just FYI, for the Ferrari fans, in 11th position in the second of the Arise racing cars. Schumacher's gone quicker in the middle sector in the Kelso Electrical car, chasing Elliot Chute, who's on a purple middle sector. So Elliot's been bustled down to 5th position at the moment in the Ferrari, but this could be a lap that returns him to the top of the pops in qualifying. Schumacher's matching him 10th per 10th though. Chute goes to third. Schumacher improves his lap time. 1 minute 47.12, and he pulls another couple of tenths over the field.
Yeah, he's got a quarter of a second over second, but keep an eye on Liam Talbot. He's now purple to the middle sector. So this is going to be a great lap for him. And someone else who's doing a good job I just want to touch on is Steve Brooks. He's doing a great job out there. He's on a personal best lap as well, currently in 6th place. But Liam Talbot, let's keep an eye on him. Here he is approaching the final corner. He's purple to the second sector. Can he nail this final sector and put that Aston Martin at the top?
It would be the first pole for Aston in this era of GT World Challenge Australia. It looks good so far. 1 minute 47.0 for Talbot, and by 0.04 of a second, he bumps Schumacher to second.
But keep an eye on Brad Schumacher now, because Schumacher's gone nearly 2 tenths faster in the first sector. So this will be everyone's, I would say, yeah, this is going to be everyone's final lap now, and we've just got under 30 seconds remaining. The gap between first and second. Oh, the Ferrari, that's Elliott Schute's gone off at turn 13. I don't think that's going to cost Schumacher too much.
It has. It's cost him 3 tenths because Brad was right behind the Ferrari. He was following him in every sector. He was just a little bit quicker. So that may be costly for Brad Schumacher. He's only got to find 0.04 of a second. It's 4/100ths. It works out to be about 30 centimetres of racetrack. This is all she wrote. The checkered flag flies. Is it going to be Liam Talbot, or will it be Brad Schumacher on pole in the AM driver qualifying? We wait for the lap time. It's not enough.
But keep an eye on Mark Rosser. Oh, he's just gone not as fast in the middle sector. Rosser had a great first sector, but geez, that was so close, wasn't it, Crailsy?
Great session. There's a few more lap times to complete. Elliott Shute will be limping back to pit lane in that Arise Racing Ferrari, having dropped off the road. Steve Brooks looking to improve. He's given away some time in the middle sector in the Wolfbrook Racing Audi. He'll get the checkered flag to end his session in 6th position. And there'll be no improvement. Well, in fact, he does improve the lap time, not the position. Renee Gracie gets the AM class pole and 5th outright. Another outstanding qualifying performance from her this season. Brad Schumacher will miss out, but Liam Talbot, for the 11th time in his GT World Challenge Australia career, will grab pole position, but more importantly, perhaps the first time for Aston Martin in this current era of GT racing in Australia. Very big result from a team on top of the world after a win at Sandown in the rain. They've converted their wet weather pace into strong performances in the dry on a completely different style of racetrack, and that will be a very big box ticked for Valente Rosso.
Yeah, just continuing on from where they left off there at Sandown, our most recent race win, and here's the results for you. For GT World Challenge Australia, powered by AWS, it is the Aston Martin on top. Liam Talbot with separated by 0.048 of a second over Brad Schumacher. Schumacher will be disappointed not to get pole, but he'll be happy that he will be starting in front of Elliott Shute, his championship rival. Mark Rosser, great job from the Team BRM guys there. Position number 3, and it's less than 2 tenths cover the top 3. So we've got Talbot, Schumacher, Rosser, Elliott Shute, Renee Gracie, who is position number 1 in AM class and 5th overall. Steve Brooks, Paul Lucchini, Konduras, Donaldson, Zalua on his return, replacing Sergio Perez in position number 10.
Paul Lucchini in 7th is a really good job. I reckon Jaden Ojeda will feel like they can do something from there as Mercedes AMG look for their first race win of the season. Remember, looking for that maiden win, and Ojeda on pole in qualifying 1. So that is very impressive. Now, race 1 later this afternoon is based on the AM drivers' qualifying performance. So that is going to be a big tick, which means we'll see the Aston Martin on the front row of the grid. The pros will start, the AMs will jump in, and then it reverses itself. We saw that incredible finish at Sandown, didn't we, in the rain, with Jackson Evans clinging on to a victory, and an emotional one at that. We're looking forward to seeing how that plays out this afternoon.
And you know, the final race at Sandown, it was the battle between Talbot and Schumacher. And look who's lining up next to one another. Yes. Talbot v Schumacher. Turn 1, lap 1. And what's your predictions?
I'm not going to make them. There's some intensity between those two as well. There's a little bit of a rivalry between them. They're arguably 2 of the best AM drivers in the country in the last couple of years. Well, that's a great qualifying performance for Brad Schumacher. He very, very nearly had pole position. He misses out by 400ths to this guy, the champ, who's got the old Lewis Hamilton braids going at the moment, Liam Talbot, and he's driving extremely well. So pole position for Aston Martin. That's their first in this current era of GT3 racing, dating back to 2001. Audi, by the way, have 23 pole positions. So Aston have a fair bit of effort to go. But an 11th career pole position for Liam Talbot. Car number 1, P number 1 in qualifying. And Charlie Barlow is down there.
Yes, I will just get in amongst the celebrations. Liam Talbot, we'll just have a quick chat. Congratulations, pole for this afternoon. Talk us through that strategy. We noticed that you were in the lane. You held in the lane for a little bit. What was that strategy there?
They give us the end of the pit lane for some reason, so there's no point going out. We just got our clean air and went about the program, and yeah, still more in it, so frustrating to get traffic on the last lap, but it is what it is. Pole position for Valente Rosso and the Shannons Insurance Aston Martin. Amazing.
Fantastic stuff. You're lining up alongside Brad Schumacher this afternoon. What could possibly go wrong?
Well, he's his own worst enemy, isn't he? No, Brad's a good guy, does a good job, but yeah, he's got to be on his A game to get ahead of this Shannon's car, so good luck to him.
Well, best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you. Woo.
Give you one of those hats. Plenty of qualifying action to come up at Tailem Bend. We'll be back after this break.